Understanding the emotions of cats can be a real head-scratcher for us humans. These independent creatures seem to inhabit a world of their own, brimming with secrets, but they actually experience a wider range of feelings than we often give them credit for. Ever stop to wonder if your cat feels bad after doing something mischievous, and if so, how they might try to make amends? In this video, we'll be exploring the question of feline apologies, so stick around until the end. First, though, let's dive into how emotions function in the minds of our feline friends. Before we continue, friends, I kindly ask you to subscribe to my channel. It only takes a second for you, but for me, it's an extra motivation to keep creating videos. I'd also really appreciate a comment. Thank you for your support, and now, let's continue with the story. Scientists typically categorize emotions into two main types, primary and secondary. Primary emotions are those rooted in instinct and shared by many mammals, including feelings like fear, joy, anger, and sadness. Secondary emotions, on the other hand, are more complex, involving things like jealousy, pride, and guilt, and are generally associated with humans and primates. It's generally believed that cats only experience primary emotions, although most cat owners might disagree. It's possible that we're simply viewing our cats through a human lens and projecting our own feelings onto them. For example, when a cat acts aggressively towards a new pet, owners might label it as jealousy, when in reality, the cat is just feeling scared and anxious due to the change in their routine and the perceived invasion of their territory. That's because jealousy is considered a secondary emotion, one that cats aren't thought to be capable of experiencing. But does a cat even know when it's behaving badly? To answer that, we need to consider whether cats even differentiate between good and bad behavior in the first place. They don't have an inherent understanding of what bad really means. And what defines good? Anyway, a cat doesn't grasp why pushing a glass off a table is considered wrong, while playing with a rubber toy is okay. Why is scratching a sofa bad when, well, why is it? From the cat's perspective, it feels good. Our human rules might seem just as perplexing to a cat as their behavior sometimes seems to us. They might think going to bed at night is bizarre, especially when prime hunting opportunities abound. In many ways, people are just as mysterious to cats as they are to us. However, even if a cat doesn't realize they've done something morally wrong, they definitely pick up on our reactions. To a cat, we're like an open book. Our facial expressions, tone of voice, even our posture provide very clear signals about our emotions. When we're happy and petting a cat, we speak in a gentle, soft voice. But if we're upset with them, we speak louder and more sternly. Cats are incredibly perceptive to these differences. For instance, if a cat jumps on the table and you say, "Get down," in an angry tone and clap your hands, they'll understand that you disapprove of their actions. Next time, they might avoid jumping on the table, at least when you're around. In this sense, you could argue that cats learn what's good and bad based on how we react to their behavior. Their understanding of right and wrong relies heavily on us. So, can cats actually apologize, you might be wondering? As we've established, cats can experience complex emotions like guilt, which means they aren't capable of apologizing in the way that humans understand it. So, if you're waiting for your cat to come to you looking remorseful and asking for forgiveness after breaking a vase, you're going to be disappointed. It's simply not going to happen. Your cat probably doesn't feel guilt, but she definitely doesn't want to see her loved one angry. Therefore, if your cat starts licking or cuddling you after committing a prank, this isn't an apology in the conventional sense. It's more like their way of saying, "I don't like it when you're upset. Let's go back to how things were." Cats deeply value their connection with us and actively seek ways to restore harmony in the relationship. So, let's examine the apology methods of cats, or what we might more accurately call reconciliation behaviors, and how they attempt to mend fences with us after their little mishaps. One thing you might see is close observation of the owner. After your cat does something wrong, and you react strongly, the first thing they'll likely do is retreat and hide. Then, you might notice them peering out from their hiding spot, watching you intently. They're assessing your mood and waiting for a safe moment to emerge and try to make amends. Once you've calmed down, the cat will begin to cautiously approach you with its head lowered and tail tucked between its legs. This is their way of signaling that they're not a threat and want to smooth things over. If the cat notices you looking at her, she may start slowly blinking and squinting while looking at you. And this is another way to apologize to you. Slow blinking while looking into your eyes. In cat language, a slow blink is a sign of trust and affection. So, when a cat gazes at you with tenderness and slowly blinks after you've had a disagreement, try to forget about that wallpaper they scratched up in the hallway. At that point, you can gently call the cat over and let her know that you're no longer angry. Following this eye contact, the cat might initiate physical contact, and this is yet another way they apologize. She might come over and rub against your legs. Every time a cat rubs against you, she's essentially headbutting you. There are pheromones on the cat's head, and this is how she marks you as part of her territory and strengthens the bond with you in the feline world. It signals belonging and trust. Therefore, if your cat comes up to you and headbutts you after some misbehavior, it's like she's asking, "Are we still friends? Everything okay between us?" Purring. Following these signs of reconciliation, the cat might start purring or meowing softly. This is another way of trying to reconnect with you after their antics. A cat's purring is associated with comfort and relaxation in humans, and the intensity of the purr can be a form of apology. Similarly, a quiet meow can be a call for reconciliation with their beloved human. If a cat rubs against you and purrs, return the affection, pet her, talk to her in a gentle voice. This will strengthen your bond and show the cat that you appreciate her attempts to reconnect. Licking. Mutual grooming is something that strengthens the bond between cats. When a cat starts to lick you, it's not just a sign of care, but also a kind of apology, where the cat is showing that despite everything, you and she are part of the same family. Light touches with a paw. Cats sometimes gently touch their humans with a paw. This can be a subtle gesture that a cat uses to get your attention and show their affection. This kind of gesture can also be interpreted as an attempt to apologize for their actions. A cat needs you with its paws. This is the well-known milking behavior of cats. It's one of the cutest things your furry friend can do. If a cat jumps on your lap and starts kneading you with its soft paws, it's not only seeking your affection, but also silently apologizing for its pranks. A cat shows you its tummy. The tummy is the most vulnerable part of a cat's body. When they expose it to you, they're showing a great deal of trust. Showing off the tummy can be a way to admit their mistake and demonstrate their vulnerability. A cat gives gifts. There's nothing quite like a gift to a loved one to get their attention. Although a mouse near your bed might be a very questionable present from a human perspective, to a cat, it's the ultimate sign of recognition. Of course, if you're lucky, the mouse will be a plush toy and not a real one. But either way, it's your cat's way of saying, "Look, I'm a provider," and at the same time, it's an attempt to make up for knocking that flower off the windowsill. So, even if the gift isn't exactly to your liking, appreciate your fluffy friend's efforts. Plays with you. Play is vital for cats. Imagine your feline friend has misbehaved and then, with an innocent look, brings you their favorite toy and starts playing merrily at your feet. This is their way of saying, "Hey, let's forget about that broken flower pot and have some fun together." Play with them to show that you're not holding a grudge. Playing together will not only relieve tension, but also strengthen your affection and emotional connection. So, don't miss the chance to play with your furry friend. Naughty behavior. Some cats apologize in the most unexpected way, with even more disobedience. It's as if they're saying, "Let's forget about it and be friends," and acting out in a way that makes you laugh. This is just a small sample of the possible ways a cat might try to reconcile with you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any helpful tips and can better understand your pet. And if you're curious about what signs a cat gives when they're in pain, check out our next video. And don't forget to share our videos with other cat owners. Let all our fluffy friends be happy and healthy.